资、呲、租、粗、栽、猜、追、催、尊、村、钻、窜、滋、知、啧、遮、租、猪、栽、摘、遭、招、增。
第二课
We listen to that and we think, would it be different if you pronounce out yourself? Right?
吃、吃、擦、插、催、吹、猜、拆、操、抄、村、春、丝、诗、丝、诗、赊、赊、塞、筛、三、山、森、参、了、日、了、热、哩、日、噜、如、捞、绕、龙、容。
Okay. Our textbook group them together because those are normally people get confused with each other. Right. The second time I'm going to play the sound check again, but let's repeat after that. I know it's very early morning, but isn't that a good opportunity to wake whoever up that you want to wake them up? Let's try to read them together loud, please.
语音练习。
一、听读变音。知、吃、
Let's read it.
遮、
遮、
车、
车、
追、
追、
吹、
吹、
捉、
捉、
戳、
戳、
尊、
尊、
春、
春、
中、
中、
冲、
冲。Continue.
资、呲、租、粗、栽、猜、追、催、尊、村、钻、窜、滋、知、啧、遮、租、猪、栽、摘、遭、招、增、争、
呲、吃、擦、插、催、吹、猜、拆、操、抄、村、春、丝、诗、丝、诗、 色奢塞筛三山森深了日了热哩日噜如捞绕隆容
Okay. The second part, practice the four tones. And that's quite easy. I think we can just read together with the sound check. Let's try to do that.
2. 唱读四声扎
Ja,
炸
ja,
炸
ja,
炸
ja. Continue.
遮折褶这摘摘窄寨支直指治出除处处抽筹
Make sure you read them out loud, please.
丑臭穿船喘串吃迟尺赤
书熟数数烧勺少少参神审慎诗时使是遭早早造作左左做簪攒攒赞滋子字猜才采菜参残惨灿催璀翠呲词此刺撒撒飒苏俗素虽随水碎思死似如汝入人忍任饶扰绕嚷嚷嚷让
Very good. Now let's do a game together. For this number 3, If we say this is 1 and that's 2 and this continues, I'm only going to read out 1 pinyin syllables. And please get a pen and circle whichever that you're going to hear, and certain one just not pronounced with specific one terms. What do you mean? Okay, we continue. You can type. I'm going to read one out and choose the one that you're going to hear. Let's try to play this game together. Ready? Get a pen. 我 Which one? 我 One, thank you. 如 Which one is it? 如 That's the second, right? 没 Correct, that's the first. 尺 Thank you. 尺 走 Okay, the second one would be 走 You hear the difference? 走 Right? Correct. That would be the first. 国 汉 right? 直 Thank you. 是 Thank you. 催 伞 上 Oh, you're very good. 忍 四 累 Very good. 他 Okay. I think you all get those photon thing. Let's just listen them together and we read them together. Go ahead.
3. 听读变调。我，卧，走，奏，时，是，忍，人，入，如，过，国，催，翠，思，似，美，美，汉，寒，三，伞，累。 雷，吃，尺，支，直，上，商，他，踏。
Right. Next one is a little bit tricky. Listen and add the tongue marks. Get your pen ready. And I'm going to play the soundtrack and you're going to try to do this alone. Right? Now I see the question. Su, for example, didn't have the third tone and Cui didn't have Cui after that. That means there's no corresponding Chinese character existing ever. Ready?
4. 听后标上声调。茶、凑、是、祖、找、孙、才、早、自、长、陈、扔、吹、生、转、寸、上、热、随、手。
Another time. We don't need the second time. You all get it. Oh, you all get it. Fantastic. Oh, okay. I was just kidding. Let's
上声调。
do that again.
茶、凑、是、祖、找、孙、才、早、自、长、陈、扔、吹、生、转、寸、上、热、随、手。
Okay, I'm going to play the third time. Normally when this appears in your term test, we will play 3 times. Don't worry.
上声调。茶、凑、是、祖、找、孙、才、早、自、长、陈、扔、吹、生、转、寸、上、热、随、手。
That's what I'm going to do now. Let's try to do this together.
后标上声调。茶、
Which one? Cha, 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 cha. The second tone, right?
凑、是、
凑, co, 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 co. The fourth tone. 是, shi, 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 shi. The fourth tone.
祖、
zu, 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 zu. The third tone.
找、
招, zhao, zhao, zhao. The third tone.
孙、
孙, sun, sun, sun. First tone.
才、
菜, cai, cai, cai. The second.
早、
早, zao, zao, zao.
自、
zi, 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 zi. The fourth.
长、
长, chang, chang, chang. The second.
长、陈、
chen, 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 chen. The second.
扔、
扔, reng, reng, reng. The first.
吹、
吹, chui, chui, chui. The first.
生、
生, sheng, sheng, sheng. The first.
转、
转转转转 the fourth
寸
寸寸寸寸 the fourth
上
上上上上 the fourth
随
what was it
热
热热热热热 the fourth
随
虽虽虽虽 the second
手
手手手手 the third how many 1 2 3 4 20 how many out of 20 you get them correct $15 very good 17 brilliant 17 brilliant 18 bravo good none of you get 20 out of 20 okay we still have some work to do but don't worry this is only second day of the second week remember Chinese student Chinese Bianese Chinese Bambino study this for 3 years so you should be proud right and we're finally going to get into some Chinese characters thanks to God and we will soon get rid of a pinyin as soon as possible I promise okay but pinyin is still very important if you want a very natural pronunciation then that's what we have to practice day after day before we get into the characters of the lesson 2 I just want to go through the lesson 1 again to refresh your memory we learned the personal pronoun right what is a personal pronoun the personal pronoun is a pronoun that you use to indicate the person right and we talked about the first person singular which is 我 the second person singular which is 你 actually I'm using the grammar terms of the Western language particular European language from those Latin descendant which does not exist in Chinese grammar I'm going to express in this way because that's easier for you to understand but in Chinese in essence you need to understand we don't determine any singularities or pluralities okay 我你 we have only one 我 only one 你 we don't have I and me so 我 means both I and me 你 means both you and you right you as a subject and you as an object as a direct or indirect object it doesn't matter 他 unfortunately we have 3 他 we have this ta and we have this ta and we have this ta this is a very obvious influence during the May 4th movement around 1919 during the movement of the simplification of the Chinese vernacular language and some scholars back to that time borrowed some grammar from the Western language particularly European language so they start to distinguish the difference between ta and ta the first ta would be he they all pronounced ta and second ta is she third ta means it and all the pronunciation are te ta the first tone 我 we learned the third tone 我 你 the third tone 他 first tone what's the difference between those 3 ta as you can see this is male this is female this is not human okay same thing as all the language you learned so far And we learned the second vocabulary we learned from lesson 1, which is 好. 好 is an adjective, right? Adjective meaning good or fine or something positive. And we learned how 好 is written is one female on the left, and 子 means the descendant. And as I said, in the Chinese ancestor mind, remember language is ideology, always like that. In the Chinese ancestor mind, a girl, a daughter is much better than son. So that's 好 means good. Okay. And we learned 你好 basically means you good, that Chinese people use for greetings. And we also learned 您, if you do remember. 您has two parts. First is 你, right? Second is 心. 心 means 心 first tone. 心 means heart, right? That thing, the bumping, beeping in your chest, heart. I put you above my heart, showing my politeness to you, right? For you who speaks French should understand this easily. In Italian, the difference is ti or lei. And we learned how do we make them in plural. In plural way, we simply adding 门. You can think 门 as a suffix, but it actually not as what it is, but easiest for you to understand. We put a character of 门 behind 我, 你, 他. We change them, and 您, right? We change them from singular to plural. Okay. And we also learned how to count the numbers with 零, 一, one stroke, 二, two stroke, how simple it could be, 三, three stroke. I doubt anyone can ever forget how to write 1, 2, 3 in Chinese because it's just basically joining 1, 2, 3 strokes, right? 四 is a little bit different. 五 六 七, those are all on your character practice sheet. You should be able to know how to pronounce them and how to write them in the correct stroke order. Yes, I am sharing my screen at the moment. I can see it from my own other device. Can other people also see my screen? Okay. I think you probably need to log out and log in back again, or maybe restart your computer. 七 八 九 10. We learned this from 0 to 10. There's nothing need to be explained here. You just need to remember how they are pronounced and what they mean. Okay, but as long as you remember how to say this, it will be probably the easiest counter numbering system in all the language I've learned, because 11 will just basically be 11. What are we doing? We put a 10 and put a e together. 12, you can guess. How do we say 12? 12, correct, right? 12 continues. 13 14 15 16 17 18 19. Well, now let's guess, how do we say 20? Correct. We put the 10 later, or 10. 21 will be 21. Well, of course, Chinese will be as same as Korean. No, Korean will be as same as Chinese, because Korean, well, that's history. We'll touch the base when we're in the second year. But what's the difference between Korean language and Chinese? Korean is essentially a phonetic alphabetical language, although it's written like something you're writing character, but that's different. 21, and we continue. 22 until 29. Then we have 30. How do we say 30? How do we say 20? Right? 20 will be 20. 30 will be 30. 40, 40. Continue until 90. 99. How do you say 99? Think. This is pure logic. Correct. We have 90. We just add another 9. Then you have 99. Easy, right? So as long as you remember how to count from 1 to 10, you will learn how to count it literally from 1 to 99. And I think this is much easier than French, right? I heard people learn French that you need to adding things up, and that's much easier than other language which has different name, particularly for the different from 11 to 20, and that's basically the easiest one how to remembering things in the language I've learned. Okay, we continue. We come back to the lesson 2 vocabulary. Within lesson 2, someone's mic is unmuted. Just mute. Oh, you're all muted. Okay, good. Within lesson 2, the first character we learned here meaning 早上. 早上, 早上 basically means morning or early morning. And 早 itself means early. It is an adjective. You can use it to describe that everything. Sorry guys, I just try to pick up this phone call. This guy keep calling me. Good day. Yeah. I'm sorry about that. I just won $1 million US. Okay. 早上. If we use 早 alone, 早 means adjective. 早 can be used as an adjective meaning something early. Okay. 上 literally means something up and above. Well, we don't have too much material to explain or construct the new word to you now, but I just want to point it out from the very beginning, the right way how you should learn the Chinese vocabulary. It's never a false memory. As long as you understand each single meaning of the character, of the Chinese character, they just make sense when you're adding them together, right? something above early, that is something in the morning, but it changed to the noun, right? And we learned how do we say good, which is 好, right? And good morning will be 早上好. 早上, I know some of you will have the question about the word order. Why 早上 come in front? We'll deal with that later. Just remember 早上好 and 你好. 好 comes later. Not 好早上, not 好你, please. This is another way of greeting, right? And the guy called Cui Hao, name of the South Korean student. Martin, we met Martin. So they meet each other in the morning. Instead of saying 你好, they could say 早上好. Just as simple as that. Vocabulary lesson number 2. 是. Okay, 是 is my favorite. 是 it itself is a verb. However, 是, this is a good question. When do you write character? Do you also write it in pinyin? No, you never write pinyin. As I said many times, pinyin is a phonetic system for us to understanding how it's pronounced. It is not the Chinese language, okay? 是 is a verb. 是 basically is a verb be in the way you could understand, but in Chinese that's much better. M is are both 是. Okay, you following me? M is are both 是. If you do recall on our first meeting, I said the second distinctive uniqueness of the Chinese language is we don't change the form of the verb or noun or adjective. 是 will always remain 是. It doesn't have the past tense, the future tense, the first person singular, the first person plural. It is always 是. Okay. 哪 it is a pronoun again, but instead of the personal pronoun, that is a question pronoun. Okay, it's easy to understand. Question pronoun, which, what, why, how, those are question pronouns. If you haven't done your basic linguistic or grammar in English or others, question pronoun are those words which initiate a question, right? And as a question pronoun, 哪 meaning which or what. 国 we discussed in the name of China. 中国, I said 中 means middle, 国 means country, right? If you recall that. 中国人. We also learned how we say why 人 meaning people, because it is like a people standing there. Up, right? It is a noun meaning people, human being. Just imagine, always remember Chinese is a pictographic language, and the 人 is basically like you're drawing a people standing up there. And we learned 是哪国人, those 4 different vocabularies. We can frame a simple question. How can I ask this title? Which country are you from? Just think about it. Which, we learned question pronoun, 哪, okay? Country, 国. 是, are, you, are, verb be. 是, you, 你, people, 人. However, it's not always as simple as a direct translation would be. Chinese language has a Chinese word order. This is the second thing I want to emphasize today. A subject always come in front of everything at the beginning of the sentence. Doesn't matter it is a question or a statement. A subject within those words will be you, right? 你. Chinese word, Chinese sentence structure number 2. A verb, which is the predicate, the beginning part of the predicate, always comes immediately after the subject, which is the verb be, 是. And you will write the followings in the rest part. 哪国人 with a question mark. You are which country person? Don't worry, we will expand this knowledge point later in the basic Chinese sentence structure. Just remember a subject always comes first, then predicate coming together. It doesn't matter if it's a question or the statement. Number 5, we continue with our vocabularies. 我, as I have explained here, 我 meaning I or me, personal pronoun, doesn't matter subject or objective. 呢, comparison notes number 1, 呢, number 1 is here used in an abbreviated interrogative sentence where the question from the context. For example, 我是韩国人，你呢? Let's look at this independently. 我 means I, 是 the verb be, I am, 韩国 Korean. Did you watch those 2 videos on Sunlen yesterday? As I asked you to do. No? Are you all still with me? Oh, okay, good. 韩国, which country? South Korea. I am South Korea people. And you? This is how the ne is used. That's why it says in an abbreviated interrogative sentence where the question from the context. Literally in English, that means and you. Okay. 他, as we discussed, 他, personal pronoun, he or him. Right, he or him. Let me just write them. She or her. 他, he or him. The name of the country, 美国, the United States, 美 literally means beautiful, beauty. 韩国, Korean. Japan, 日本, 日 means the sun, 本 means origin. 日本 means where the sun originally come from. Language is always ideology. Why 日本 is 日本? Because 日本 is located on the eastern side of China, and the sun will rise from that side. So that's why 日本 is called 日本, where the sun comes. And let's look at this short text together. It's a little bit longer than the last one, finally. 你是哪国人? We discussed this. You are which country person with a question mark? 我是美国人. I am American. And you? 你呢? Same thing. You can change it to the different personal pronoun and change it. 美 means beautiful. 国 means country. You see 美国, 韩国, and we will see a lot of 国 here. 德国、英国、法国、泰国、中国，国 means country. Chinese language makes sense. It's very easy for you to memorize those vocabularies in the little sense. 我是美国人，你呢? And you can change the personal pronoun to the others. For example, and you is 你呢? And he, him, and him. How do we say that? How do we say he or him? 他, right? Then that says 他呢? If Cui Hao and Martin are talking and the third person there, which is a male, they can simply refer to I'm American and him. 我是韩国人. I am Korean people. You see here? 他呢? 他是日本人. And you see in the statement form, in the statement sentence, subject plus predicate, right? Plus object, or basically object is part of the predicate. 我 subject, 我 subject, 他 subject, 是 the verb, 是 the verb, 是 the verb, object, object, object. This is the same thing as English. Now let's read this short text together. Repeat after me. 你是哪国人？我是韩国人。我是美国人。你呢？我是韩国人。他呢？他是日本人。If I ask you 你是哪国人 what should you answer me? 我是 How do you say South African? We discussed that yesterday. 南非 South African people adding a 人 to that. I am 我是南非人。How do we say France? We have 法国 French people 法国人 I am 我是法国人 Right, now let's read this mini dialogue in the quasi-normal Chinese speed that we call today. Ready? 你是哪国人？我是美国人。你呢？我是韩国人。他呢？他是日本人。Okay, thank you so much for joining me this morning. I'll see you tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Bye.
拜拜，谢谢，再见，明天见，拜拜。
谢谢老师。
再见。